What's going on, guys? Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. So today, a quick update. Celsius Network has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? So let's just go through this article. Celsius Network initiates financial restructuring to stabilize business and maximize value for all stakeholders, right? So they filed for voluntary petitions for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And I don't really think so because they probably have no more choices, right? Because most of the time you don't file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy until it's the last step, right? So they say ample liquidity with 167 million in cash to support operations. And now my question is, what operations? Because they have no business anymore, right? Basically because they paused withdrawals. And also, like, if you deposit with them, you know you're not going to get your withdrawal, right? So what, you deposit and get your fixed interest. So doesn't really make much sense to me, right? So this 167 million it's not even a lot, right? In the context of what they owe to their customers and all of that, right? So it announced that it initiated voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings to give the company an opportunity to stabilize its business and consummate a comprehensive restructuring transaction that maximizes value to all stakeholders, right? To implement the restructuring, the company and certain of its subsidiaries filed voluntary petitions for reorganizations under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code in the United States Bankruptcy Court. That's a lot of bankruptcies for the Southern District of New York, right? So members of the special committee of the board said today's filing follows the difficult but necessary decision by Celsius to pause withdrawals last month and then currently trying to stabilize its business, right? So I really do wonder what business they're really talking about, right? Because like there is practically no business left to salvage, right? And also nobody would touch it with a 10-foot pole, right? In fact, there was actually a buyout which was around $6 billion. And if they manage to get bought up for $6 billion, I would think that's a very good thing for their customers, right? Because at their peak, they had about 11 billion in customer assets. So if you get bought out for 6 billion, even if there was no withdrawals and you get 50 cents on the dollar, it's better than what's happening, right? Because this bankruptcy proceeding, what will probably happen is something like Mt. Gox, right? Basically, in early 2014, this Mt. Gox exchange went defunct, right? And people are only getting their money in a couple months, right? And today is 2020 July, right? So it will take what, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, right? So I expect it to take around the same time frame for people to recover their money, right? So the best mindset for those people that actually lost money in Celsius would be like to think that this money is already gone. And one day, if you get some money back from this, just think of it as a bonus, right? So when we take a look at the prices, right, this news actually didn't move Bitcoin much, right? And I'm quite surprised by that, right? So if we take a look at the hourly chart, you can see that this news came out at what, 8:14 p.m. So about 2 hours, 20 minutes ago, and it hardly did a dent on Bitcoin, right? Down maybe what, 1% because of the news. So yeah, Bitcoin has been really holding up really well, right? So what was more devastating was actually the CPI print yesterday, right? So high CPI, Bitcoin prices moved lower, but subsequently recover. So when the CPI came out, Bitcoin was around 20,000, and at the low it was at around 19,000. Right? So about a 5% move there. So next, I want to really talk about my plan for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, right? Because we can see that over time, I've been calling for lower prices, and now that we are here, I feel as though it's appropriate to update my audience and also maybe myself of what the game plan is, right? I'm actually waiting for one last capitulation, and then I will start dollar cost averaging, right? Because my prices that I'm aiming for is around 15,000 and lower, right? Actually, I thought it was going to happen yesterday, but apparently it didn't. Maybe we'll have some news that comes out that may cause this event, right? Because I feel as though these prices are already very, very low, but I feel 50% down to 10,000 is not out of the range of possibilities, right? In my opinion. So there's still a lot of issues coming up, like the next Fed meeting. People are expecting 100 basis points now, which is basically 1%, instead of the 75 basis points, which is 0.75%, right? And maybe a few months ago, they were expecting a 0.5% basis point hike, right? So yeah, I'm waiting for lower prices, but I won't be specifically buying Bitcoin. Maybe I'll buy a bit of Bitcoin, but I'm looking into other projects which are sustainable, well-funded, have good actual business models, and also like they basically have a very interesting future, right? Because a big part of cryptocurrency is also speculation, and you have to think that, you know, something like maybe Aave or Compound or Maker, right? These are very boring business models, right? So when the hype comes, right, it won't push all these crypto assets prices to be very, very high, right? So mainly I'm using crypto not as an investment vehicle, but more towards the speculative side, right? But a few tokens that I would say are buys even right now. You can start dollar cost averaging. Obviously not financial advice, but some ideas would be near and also FTT, right? So these two I would think would do really well in the next cycle. FTX is literally buying up a lot of businesses, right? But I don't think this will do a 10x from here. Maybe if it goes down another 50%, it can do a 10x. But I would still think it would do really well, right? Because they have a buyback and burn program. You can read more about it, right? And also, Near Protocol would be a very well-funded, basically competitor to Solana. And you can see Solana's market cap is huge, right? And especially when the bull run comes, a lot of people that don't understand all this technology, right? And I'm not claiming that I fully understand the technology either. I'm just like early enough to basically make money, even though I don't understand 100% of the technology, right? But a lot of people will push Near and things like FTM because they don't understand what the tech is, right? They will push it to very, very high prices, right? You can see that Near and FTM, they're probably like 80-90% of their highs. Let's just see. So their highs were what, $3? Yeah, it's about 95% of its high, right? So you can see that because they don't understand it, they'll push it higher, right? And things that are easy to understand, like Maker or Compound, right? Nobody will push the prices so high, right? I mean, like Compound is also down 90% from its all-time high, but at that time it was because it was newly launched, right? So in order for you to do maybe a 10 or 100x, right, it has to be a project which is more speculative in nature, or it can grow really fast and gets people really excited, right? So this part of the video is actually edited in after the fact because I feel like I didn't elaborate and didn't say some of the things that I wanted to say, right? So basically, I have three things that I really want to say. So one is basically my strategy, right? So my strategy is I'm going to wait until it goes down to 15K, and then also I'm going to start dollar cost averaging. If there's one day moves, like one day moves like 10, 15 or 20% or more than that, I will deploy liquidity accordingly. And then when it bounces from that, I will sell a bit so I can have more dry powder, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, do I know that it's going to go down to 15K or 10K? I don't know any of that. Nobody knows any of that, right? So if anyone says, I know it's going to go down to this exact number, they're not, right? They're just kidding themselves, right? So why do I mention that? It's because a lot of people hear me say, oh, I want to wait for it to go down to 15K, and they think they should have the same plan, right? But what you have to know about me is I'm more than willing to give up this opportunity because currently there are so many other opportunities, right? So there's so many other risks to be taken with very favorable reward to be had at the end of the line, right? So don't worry about me. If I miss Bitcoin, I'll be just fine, right? And third, I want to talk about a few pieces of advice, right? So first of all, I think you should really stay out of margin at this time. If anyone use margin, you'll be basically 3 arrow capital right now with Bitcoin at 20K. Stay out of that and increase your income, right? Because right now, if you have $10,000, sure, it can turn into 100,000 in the next bull market. And I'm giving you a very high figure because a 10x in one bull market is a very high tall order to achieve, but it's not impossible, right? But at the same time, if you imagine if you go to work and you save and you cut back maybe on your lifestyle a bit, and you can add another 20 or 30,000 within this bear market into the market. So instead of 100,000, you end up with 400,000. So that is also a very big deal and a very life-changing amount, right? So yeah, that's about all I wanted to share today. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button. With that being said, have a fantastic day ahead and peace out.